guys. I know I haven't done a video where you've actually seen my face in probably a pretty long time. Stuff has just been crazy here, you know, just normal everyday stuff. Sorry, I look a hot mess right now. Just took my son down to the bus stop and about to get my daughter ready. I'm about to start our day. I just wanted to make a real quick video right now because I've been keeping up with YouTube and I still watch everybody's videos because I still love everybody on YouTube. But real quick before I even say this is just from my knowledge, from what I've learned and from what my opinion is, you know, not saying this is concrete, this is like, oh, this is right, you know, like everybody's entitled to their own opinion, you know, if you think something completely different, that's fine. I'm not telling you you're wrong, you know, I just want to put that out there. This is just from what I've learned and from what I've always thought, I've always, you know, heard and whatever. But I've noticed because a lot of people have been making videos about familiars lately, and I noticed that it's the videos and like from what I've heard a lot of people, and I'm sure like, you know, this, I'm not the only one who knows this or thinks this, you know, but you know, just right now the most common kind of familiar is your pet, is like having a pet. But from what I've always been taught about familiars, what I've always learned about familiars is, at least the original traditional concept of a familiar, it wasn't a pet. It wasn't an actual physical pet that you had. And that pretty much started, from what I've learned, was back during the witch trials, and that's how the whole concept of a living animal familiar became. And well, traditionally, a familiar was a spirit familiar that you had. And I mean, it would come sometimes in a physical form as a messenger, but it wouldn't stay with you as a actual true physical being. It could be a spirit, like, you know, it would come to you in different forms. And I mean, it could be the form of a cat, it could be any kind of form, obviously, because it's a spirit and whatever you would relate to at that time. But from what I've always understood it as, is that a familiar, a traditional familiar, wasn't something that you owned. It was just, you know, like a messenger. And actually, this is a really good book on familiars if you want to learn like the traditional way of what a familiar used to be or how it is. And I'm not saying like, you know, now obviously, you know, a familiar, one of the most well-known concepts of a familiar is having a physical form of an animal. But at least in what I'm reading about now also, and from what I've learned, is that the physical form wasn't the familiar. It was just a representation, of the familiar. And you would use the astral form of it to use as a representation, to, you know, connect with the spirit of your familiar. A real good book on this is, you know, everybody knows I love Raven Grimassi. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm using my phone. The Witch's Familiar. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this book. I hope it's not backwards, and I hope, you know, The Witch's Familiar. It probably is. Hold on. Well, anyway, I can't show it to you, but that's a good book. It's called The Witch's Familiar by Raven Grimassi. Let me show you one more time. That is a good book on learning the traditional form of familiar, how to meet your spirit familiar, how to work with it, and then how to get close to it, and how to use the astral form of, say, your pet as a familiar. And I mean, I don't know if anybody's seen my garden video. I have plant familiars. I don't have any pets because we live with my mom right now, and she's allergic supposedly to everything, which she's not, but she just doesn't like animals. She doesn't really like animals. She doesn't like people. She don't like kids, so we just don't go there here. But when I move out, I plan on having a lot of animals. Animals are my life. I love them. But I have a rue plant and a hellebore plant that are my familiars, and I started working with them a couple months ago, basically when the summer started. And right now I've held back on doing a lot of active work with them because I'm really trying to read this book and really gain as much knowledge as I possibly can before I take it further. I'm still working with them, and I'm not just putting them out in the dust, you know, like, because you'll lose it. You'll lose your spirit connection if you don't work with it, obviously, which, you know, so, but I just wanted to put that out there. And like I said, like, this isn't, you know, the only familiar, you know. Of course you can have a pet that has become your familiar. You can have that magical psychic connection with them, and they can be your familiar, your guide. They can, you know, transfer messages for you. That's just from what I've always learned, and from the, you know, way I've always thought of it as, is your actual pet isn't your actual familiar. The astral form of the pet. I mean, in a way, I guess you'd see it's a spirit, like a spirit power animal, but those are different things from at least what I've always learned, like from what I've always thought. Spirit animal or power animal, you're connecting with the whole group of the whole species, basically. Like your power animal is a cougar, like mine's a Black Panther or a leopard, and you're connecting with that species of the animal, and that you are connected to something about that type of animal. A familiar, you're connected to a spirit of that. I don't know if I'm explaining this right, because I might sometimes even get confused. I know they're different, but the thing is, how I remember is a familiar, you are familiar because you are embracing that spirit. You are able to embrace it in yourself, and that's the difference between a power animal, a spirit animal, and a familiar. I think. I mean, if I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me. I can't talk this morning. I'm so sorry. Go ahead, comment below, tell me. I mean, if I'm wrong, if you think I'm wrong, that's fine. Go ahead, correct me, you know, let me know. If there's a different, if I'm saying it wrong, go ahead, let me know. I'm not gonna hurt my feelings, you know, it's whatever. But at least just that's always been my opinion of a familiar. So, I mean, I think this is a great book. The Witch's Familiar by Raven Grimassi. Spiritual Partnerships for Successful Magic is what the title of it is. And I think it's a great form. It teaches you how to work with plant familiars, even pet familiars. It teaches you how to work with astral familiars. It teaches you a journey on, you know, on a guided meditation, how to find your spirit familiar. And I mean, it's a great book. I like it. On familiars, and like I've said before, spirits have always been a really big thing of mine. Like, I've always had a really big connection with spirits and, you know, ghosts, the dead. So any kind of spirit, like plant spirits, crystal spirits, I'm drawn to pretty much any type of spirit there is. So I pretty much want to learn and do any kind of work that I can do with any kind of spirits. So, but that's just what I wanted to say. I just wanted to put my thought out there, and, you know, maybe if anybody else agrees with me, maybe, you know, then I could learn more about it, because I am very new to working with familiars. I am going to say that. Like, so I mean, obviously I'm not like a master, like I don't know like all this crazy stuff about it. I just, you know, this is just my opinion, what I've always thought. And if you like, you know, more or anything, I would love to learn from you. You know, if you have a different opinion, I'd still love to learn from you. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there, guys. I gotta go get my daughter dressed, and we're gonna start a day. All right, well, I hope you all have a blessed and wonderful day, and blessed be. Bye.